Dan Chibnall. Did I get it right? All right. Dan is a librarian who works in both college and public libraries. He's passionate about how we interact with information and how it will change us as individuals in a society of the future. Let's give Dan a big round of applause.
This is Proto-Edomite. It's one of the oldest languages in the world. We have absolutely no idea what it says. This is our ancestors trying to speak to us. This is one of the first times in human history where we actually see somebody trying to lay something down permanently. It's a voice from the past, and it puts us on a path to where we are today. We move quickly through the timeline of human history to the written word. This is a collection of our stories, our prayers, our observations about the world. But what's amazing about this technological leap is that it gives us a chance to pass things down to the next generation, not through oral culture, but through written culture, so people actually know what's going on. But where do we put all this stuff? We put it in libraries. We finally have a storehouse for our external brains, for our stories. Now, they don't always look this beautiful. They used to be dark and small and dusty, and the problem is you also need somebody to really organize all this stuff, and who really wants to do that all day long? Who's going to pay somebody like this guy, who's just lazing about on top of a card catalog, and that's pretty much what we do all day, is just, read, and they pay us to read, but we don't actually do that. We work with information. We teach people about information. We try to make people information fluent. That's one of our big jobs. And one of the problems is that some people still perceive us like this guy. This is the gatekeeper of the library, and people still see us as that we're just sort of these protectors of information, just shushing you all the time, keeping the information behind closed doors. But we're more than that. But this reputation comes from somewhere, long ago. And that reputation really stems from this: books that used to be chained to shelves. And the reason that libraries used to be this way is because these things were high-value items. Only a privileged few had access to them. And mainly because only certain people could read. Illiteracy was a huge problem. Not many people actually had that ability to do that. But along the timeline, we get this: the Gutenberg Bible, the Gutenberg printing press. And now this thing's huge. You can't carry this thing around. It's insanely big. But the printing press gave us the ability to print books that were smaller and thus more portable, just like your phones are today. So information could spread a lot more quickly. People could learn a lot faster. That's a huge revolution. And then we get to this guy eventually, Andrew Carnegie. Yeah, a steel monopolist. That's not so good. But he also built over 2,500 libraries in his lifetime. He wanted people to empower themselves, to learn on their own, to be individual learners, and to be part of a lifelong learning kind of curriculum. He wanted public libraries to teach literacy. He wanted people to have access to books. And for young people, this is one of the greatest things we can give them, even in a technological age, is the ability to read, the ability to have access to books, because that way they can unshackle themselves from ignorance. They can actually say, I don't know something, I'm going to find it out. I'm actually going to pursue that. Neil Gaiman, a great author and a huge supporter of libraries, he believes in literacy too, obviously, but he also reminds us that fiction is important, because fiction helps us empathize with other human beings. And it allows us to communicate with the past, to communicate with the dead. And so we have to support libraries. I'm obviously passionate about libraries. I take lots of photos of them. And we build libraries like this because we love them. We love places where we can focus, where we can get away from the toils of everyday life. And places like this are what a librarian named Jesse Shera called the place for the quiet stir of thought. That's what we need to have in our culture, in more places like that. Some people say librarians are going to be going away because of the internet. Not a chance, at least I hope not. But the mixture of technology, that's one of the things that we do now, is mix the old with the new, fusing new technology with old ideas, and teaching children how to use this stuff, how they can be creative. Not just finding things, but using it. When I was in Oslo, Norway, this was a library that I visited, and they had the idea right. It's a celebration of community, of art, of history, of the printed word, but also of technology. This is what the cusp of libraries, this is what's happening. They are building things where the old and the new are fusing together. But the future of information is that we're flooded with it. We've got these devices, and there's so much information, what do we do with it? We have to remember that that these aren't just communication devices. These are personal educational tools. They empower us to dig deeper into the things that we really love. We don't just want to skim the surface with them. We want to dig deep, like these folks are doing. Technology is not going to make libraries go away. This is the National Library of China. China is one of the fastest growing countries on the planet. Do you think they care about libraries? Yeah, they do. They built this, and it's busy, it's popular. There's technology there, and there's books. People are mixing these things together and collaborating. But we also have to remember that libraries can be inspirational. They're a spark in the darkness. They're that light on the hill that we look for. And we need these kinds of places because they remind us that education doesn't just end with school. We have to become lifelong learners. We have to be people who learn every day of our lives. And I hope that more and more libraries look like this one because it's been successful. These kids, they're not just learning, but they're collaborating. They're using old technology, printed word technology, but they're also using real-world technology, digital technology, to collaborate with each other and build something new. And I hope that we have more libraries like this that have symbols, organic, that education helps us grow physically and mentally, and that libraries can be a companion for the rest of our lives. It's not just on the phone, it's also in the place where we can study and engage with other people. Now, our information desires know no bounds. We've turned our eyes and our tools to the heavens because we're looking for other cultures. We're looking for other people that might be out there, who might be doing the same thing we're doing. Looking for information, understanding the world, trying to make sense of it. And one day, this place is not going to be habitable anymore. We're going to be gone. And when that happens, if we don't escape this rock, this is going to be the last thing that's out there. But at least we will have done something. We will have sent a library out into the universe. Because this, Voyager 1, is the last thing that will survive with all of our stuff. So if a culture finds us, it'll be a symbol of, we were here, here's our information, learn from us. Thank you.